This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our extra webinar we're putting on for all our landlord clients. And I'm delighted that we have Sonny Wells from Hammock, who's going to be introducing us all to what the landlord software is all about. It's something which you really should be considering if you have residential properties, and you doesn't matter whether you have them set up in a limited company, sole trader, partnership, or whatever. This is going to make your life a lot easier. Before we start that, obviously we have to have our usual disclaimer, and the following presentation is produced for general guidance only, and professional advice should always be sought before any transaction is undertaken. Individual circumstances can vary, and therefore no responsibility can be accepted by Harts Limited or any of their affiliates for any action taken, or any decision made to refrain from action by attendees of this presentation. Um, we also want to let you know about our other online resources as well. So you can follow us on LinkedIn. Loads of stuff getting posted on there. We've just recorded another 8 videos, and those are going to be coming out gradually over the next month or two. Follow us also on YouTube, and this is where this webinar recording is going to be. So you can follow us on YouTube as well. Follow us on Twitter, and we're also on Spotify. And we have some great podcasts coming up as well for that. So watch out for that. I've also got with us, some of you will recognise the faces. We've got Millie and Gary from our Harts tax team. Welcome, Martin. Thank you for joining us. And just so you can put some faces to a name if you've not seen them before, because they're going to be helping you out with this software as well. Next webinars and events. Well, this is an extra webinar that we've put on, and we're going to be back in September with our usual range of webinars. So we've got Lloyds Bank coming in, we've got pensions, we've got thinking of selling your business, and there's an ebook coming out on that very shortly. And we also have our business club event, which is normally very well attended. That's on the 20th of September. So if you want to join us on the 20th of September at Hollin Hall, just go to our events page on our website and sign up. We're normally having about 50 or 60 people there for lunch, which is a great networking event, and you can put yourself down as a speaker. So over to Sonny, and he's from Hammock, and he's going to take over from here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to make him a presenter, and over to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stephen. Let me just get my screen up as well. 1 second. Go. So I hope you can see the screen. So yeah, hello everyone.
Yep.
Basically, just to give you an idea of Hammock. So we are a landlord accounting platform. We all created for or on the behalf of landlords. So all the founders here are landlords. We built on the system on the basis that we are the pros. I've myself been in the property industry for 10 years as well, so I've dealt with a lot of landlords in the past, and I know the system is very, very beneficial for everyone involved. And now what I'll do is I'll show you the benefits from the landlord side. Also as well, the tax statement is also populated, so it's really easy for the guys over at Harts to be able to do a tax statement as well, also to be able to give you advice through the year. So let me go through and give you an idea of the platform. Also, just before I go into that, I'll jump into just a bit about us. So just to give you an idea, so again, landlord accounting platform for landlords. So the idea is that we offer real-time rental income and expenses management. So as you can see on the slide here, the properties and tenancies, all the money goes through the banking, and the tax statements and all the insights can be done through the bookkeeping, and then the banking and the bookkeeping work simultaneously together so that it can produce the tax statement. The idea of us is also to make spreadsheets a thing of the past. So with MTD coming up in the next few years, it's very important that everyone is starting to move towards the digital side. And then with this as well, we have got allocations in our system that you can upload spreadsheets onto Hammock. So if you have got previous data, it's not like it's going to be lost. It will just be moving forward with the times. Also as well, so for us, so we make the process fully digital and efficient. So ones that we love to shout about is on the right hand side here. So the missed rent payments and also unreported expenses cost landlords about £120 per property per year. So this could be again, maybe the not amount of rent has come through. It might have been a case that, let's say, maybe you lost a receipt and you couldn't claim back on it. So all these things do add up. And then the way we also help landlords as well. So all the transactions in one place, all your documents are in one place as well. But we also give you a lot of property insights. So the profit and loss, rental yield, expenses, arrears balance, and also reminders there as well. Now, some relevant information, and the reason that this is a very important system over the years to come. So MTD I just mentioned, but also with the EPC changes. Now, it was proposed for 2025. They are looking to push this back to 2028. However, it is going to be something that's needed to be done sooner rather than later. So if you're not aware already, the current regulations are an E for all the rental properties that only come through a few years ago. They're now needing to be a C for all the rental properties. Okay, so this is really crucial, especially if you can look into the information now and make an educated decision whether it's best to actually put the money back into the property and get the work done, or even look to sell up. But also as well, I'm sure there's not going to be a builder for love nor money when it comes close to the time, so it's definitely worth looking to it sooner rather than later. And also MTD that I briefly mentioned as well. So with this, we've got some changes coming up in terms of it's going to be 5 times a year that you have to submit to HMRC. So just to give you a rough idea, what they're proposing at the moment is for the first 4, it won't be as crucial for the first year, but you're still going to have to submit. And then everything needs to be come into the tax statement at the end of that year, and then linked with any other income that you have. Now, the first year is almost like a test, what they're making it out, but it's going to be really crucial because there's going to be a lot of landlords do a lot more work. And again, there might be a case at the moment you just look at it once a year. This is really making sure that you're going to have to be on top of this and be able to obviously get it over to your accountant 4 to 5 times a year as well. So that's just the quick slideshow that I wanted to run through. So let me jump onto the demo and show you the screen again. Now on here, what you would do, just give you an idea of Hammock, you'd come in and set up your ownership structure. So you would say if it was owned, say for instance, if it's husband and wife, if it's with friends, if it's under a limited company. And then at that point, as soon as you put the address into Hammock, it pops up a nice little Google image. You can upload your own if you want. And at this point, you can then see the income, the expenses, profit, and also if there's any arrears or any credit on the property. And if I click down, you can put the property value in, and then once you put the mortgage balance in, we can work out the loan to value and the equity. So again, this is just a quick overall summary of what you can see. You can also manage your arrears. Now, this is another big one as well. So we do hear that there is a lot of transactions that are missed until they are keeping track of it every single month. So for instance here, this is in credit, so overpaid, fantastic. But if you can see here, this one's all paid. This is what it should be. You can also download this as a PDF or send this directly to the tenant, especially if you needed to give a reference if they were moving out. But also, we all know that it's not always as simple as that. So if I click on to John Smith, this one here, so this one's in arrears. Now, if I scroll down, every single time it was paid, every single month. However, then there was a missing payment. So we heard this a lot during or post-COVID, or actually and during COVID, that where people couldn't pay the rent, whether it be 1 month, 2 months, whatever it be. And then there was agreements made with the landlord saying, look, I can't pay now. I want to stay in the property. Can I overpay a little bit every single month? So we can allow that in the system as well. So you can see here, 1350, 1150, and it's slowly going down over time. So the arrears balance coming down. Again, this is where it's really handy to send, if there is a missing payment, over to the tenant, because then you can say, well, hold on a minute, May's missing, can you please amend this as soon as possible? So it's much easier to get the money back if it's the same month or the month after, unless it's going to be 9-8 months down the line. Now, the way we collate all this information and the way we can put this into these tables is all done through open banking. So what you do is you connect open banking. If you're not aware of it, it's basically like a digital version of your bank statement. On here, you can connect as many bank accounts as you like. So especially if it's personal, if it's business, but also if, say, for instance, it is husband or wife for that example, it might be a case that one account has the expenses coming out and one has the rent coming in. Now, at that point, you want to have both tracked so that you can make sure that all the transactions are tracked. And as I scroll down, we don't necessarily care about every single transaction that's coming through. We only care about the ones related to the property. So for instance, here you can see mortgage interest, rental income, And if I was to give you an example of what one would look like, so if I find an income, scroll down, got John Smith, what I would do is click to track it, click on rental income, select property. Straight away, it knows that the system, so the system recognises that this is actually less than it should be. So at that point, you click track as maintenance. If there was like a repair or replacement of items that month, hit save. It will track the rental income, and then also it will divide it with the repairs that are there as well. And at that point, it's really easy to say, oh, this was a new dishwasher. So again, for yourself as the landlord and also for your accountant, it's very easy to see why that was less and why that needs to be tracked and when it needs to be reconciled. You can also add a receipt really easily. So we've got a mobile app. So if you take a picture of that receipt, or if it's an invoice, we can then put it straight into Hammock. If it was cash as well, so if you just came into B&Q, for instance, and you paid in cash, you can come out, take a picture of the receipt, and we'll create that transaction for you manually. Okay. Now, if I also go back on the transaction page, so we can also track whatever it might be. So anything to do with the rental income, anything to do with anything related to the property, and also if it's going to be insurance, if it's going to be capital gains tax, capital expenditure. We can also accommodate for furnished toilets, HMOs, service departments as well. And all that information then gets fed into the tax statement. So if I scroll down here, so we've got two examples. So again, just going on the husband and wife example. So Jane's got two portfolios. She's got one that she owns outright with two properties in the portfolio, and then she's got a separate one with her husband. So what I can see on the tax statement here, so all this information is auto-populated. I can see the income, I can see the expenses, and I'm also going to have a rough idea of what the forecast will be for the tax bill. Now, quick stat on that. So we've done a survey through YouGov back in January 27th. 45% of landlords hadn't put any money aside for their tax bill, but also 1 in 6 hadn't submitted anything before the 27th of January. So with 4 days left before the deadline, again, if you're not able to know how much tax is going to be, it might be because it's not been submitted in time. So with this, you can know it up to 9 months in advance and prepare for that well in advance. Now, as I scroll down, all the categories are ready for the tax return. So the rents, the insurance, the property repairs, whatever we put on from the previous page of the transactions, it will automatically get fed into here. Also, it's worth mentioning that you haven't got to do this every single month or every single week. You haven't got to go every single day. It's very much a case that once the rent is tracked and the insurance tracked, the system will know and learn. And at that point, it will do it automatically every single month. So the only time you'd have to go into Hammock if there is a repair like I've just shown, or if it's on maybe a gas safety certificate that needs to be done, at that point you'd come in and say what that expense was for. But also on here, if I scroll down, all the transactions are here, and then you can also download an option and send it over to your accountant, but also the accountant will have access to this as well. Now, if I go back to the tax statement, I'll also show you an example of the joint ownership. So if I click this, so Jane owns 60%. It's only going to show 60% of the income and the expenses, and also for the subtotals. And it's also going to do a split, automatic split for her husband Steve, who owns the other 40%. At that point, I can see it's only going to show the other 40%. Now, all this information as well is fantastic, and yes, it's great for yourself as the landlord and also for the accountant. However, Hammock offers so much more. So to give you an example, if I click on overview, this is where a lot of our landlords see this like a stocks and shares app. They can come in at any point and see what their portfolio is doing. So at this stage, you can see your profit and loss analysis, your asset analysis. You can see any arrears that are outstanding on the property. See any upcoming payments. And also, one that I absolutely love is the rental yield. So if I click down here, we've got a purchase price rental yield. So I can see what the gross yield is for that. However, we've also got a current valuation element. So again, I mentioned I've been in the property industry for quite some time. I used to be an agent for my sins, and I always heard from landlords that they didn't want to have someone come out to evaluate the property because it's a waste of everyone's time. They weren't looking to sell. However, they want to have an idea of what it's worth. So what we've done is we've got a link with Rightmove, Zoopla, the land registry, all through a third party. So they can give you a rough up-to-date valuation on the home. So again, instead of contacting the letting agent, this can be done in a couple of clicks. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as accurate as an agent coming around and seeing that the ceiling's falling down. However, it can be as accurate as possible. So that's one feature there. We've also got it on the property section. So if I go back to this here. So the EPC changes that I mentioned before right at the beginning, we've added this into Hammock. So for instance here, you've got the property address. As soon as you put the property address into the system, your EPC record will come up. So again, this is an API that we've got through the land registry. So I can see here that the property is a D, and we need to get it up to a C, and it has the potential to go up to a B. Now, if I scroll down, it's got some recommendations for how I can improve the rating and how I get it up to the standard that I need to. Now, the ones at the top, so the roof insulation and the wall insulation, the reason that these are first, if I scroll down on the facts card, so again, when the last inspection was done from one of the EPC inspectors, I can see the wall energy efficiency is very poor, and also the roof energy efficiency is also very poor. Okay, so with this, both of these are the ones that I would need to action as a landlord. So it's not going to be one size fits all. Not everyone has to go out and get a brand new boiler. You know, not everyone has to go out and get solar panels. It could be as simple as just wall insulation. Okay, so again, instead of digging through the records to try and find this, it's all linked here for you. Now, a few other things on here as well. So we've got a document section. So on here, this is where you can store all your documents in one place. So instead of
have you lost audio? Sonny, we can't hear you. I think we've just got a technical issue. He's going to join us back in a minute. But as you can see, it is a phenomenal piece of software which does all sorts of stuff. And he was going to go on to say, yes, you can store all your documents in one place, and you can have your tenancy agreements, your safety certificates, all relating to one property and all in one place. So it is a quite incredible piece of software. I know that they've had some issues at their end. Here we go. He's coming back in at the moment. So it won't be too long. Just bear
hello.
with us. Hi, sorry, we lost you there. So I was just filling in to say that you've got all your tenancy agreements and documents and so on in one place as well. And Ben, back over to you. I know that they're having some IT issues at their end, I'm afraid. So I'm sorry about this. But it's the IT issues over at Hammock. I know they did warn us beforehand. But yes, there's lots of reminders and calendars and so on within the software. And if you want a price for the software, then feel free to get in touch with us. It's not that expensive. So typically, if you've only got 1 to 3 properties, it's only going to be about £5 a month. So we're not talking huge sums of money for what's involved. And so it is easily affordable and will just be part of your overall cost. Great. Back to you, Sonny.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We've told everyone that you've got IT issues over at your end.
Right. Where did you hear up to? Because I feel like I've done most of the demo there.
Documents. We were talking about documents and what it can hold and so on.
Brilliant. So not too far away. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, all the documents there as well. So can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So on here, so this is again, so the documents that I mentioned, we've also got a receipt section. So all the receipts will come up into one place. And also the custom categories, this will also be for the letting agent statement. So we are the only platform that can accommodate for the letting agent fees. So even if you are using a letting agent, it's really important to use Hammock because then again, it's all tracked and ready to go, ready for the tax statement. Now, also as well, we've got notes, we've got reminders, we've also got a calendar. So again, if it was going to be a case that you can just pop in at any time and see when the rent is due or when you're going to have the gas safety certificate. You can put a report for anything on the system. And we've recently just added property insurance. So if you haven't got property insurance on your property, you can also look to get that through Hammock as well. So before the Wi-Fi goes again, that is basically everything on the system. And then in terms of price, I'll pass that back over to Stephen.
Yeah, we were just mentioning it whilst you were off that we're starting off from £5 a month, so it's not an expensive piece of software, and for what you're getting for it, it is well worth it. What we can do is, if you want a full and complete demo, we can arrange that for you. Just get in touch and drop me an email, and you'll find the details on our website, info@harts-ltd.com. Mark it for my attention or for Millie's attention, and we can arrange a full demo for you. But if this has piqued your interest, I think you should be getting in touch. We would certainly recommend that our clients go on it. We are going to be trying and moving a majority of our clients over onto Hammock, and we probably have over 100 clients who are on property, and we want to get as many on as we can. It's going to save not only ourselves time, but it will also save the landlords a lot of time as well, and that's what we're after. So thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Thank you, Sonny, for that demo. And please feel free to get in touch. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot.